Before you go, the first thing you should do is download the offline maps on Google. The reason you want to do this is sometimes you might not have data service, but you still need to navigate the island. With offline maps, you can do just that. And here's how you do it. First thing you should do is open up your maps, then click your icon, go to offline maps, select your own. You can pinch to zoom. Then once you're over the region you want to download, just click download. It also tells you how much space it would take up on your hard drive or your SD card. And once it's downloaded, it's saved right here in your offline maps. The next thing you should do is figure out how you're going to navigate the island. Now there are two options that I found. One was a physical map, which was my first recommended option. But the reason I didn't choose this one was because it would have taken a couple weeks for it to get to me, and I didn't have enough time between when I found it and when I would get it. It is interactive to a point. It just has pictures that you can look at where the different locations are. But the option I went with was an actual internet link. Now with this link, you can navigate a map that's online and they can take you to the location from that map. So you can see what the site looks like and then navigate straight from that web link. Both of these authors did a lot of work to compile this data. I just preferred the web link to the physical map. You should know that everybody speaks English, at least everybody you should interact with speaks English. So you won't have trouble communicating in the shops or even with the locals. It is useful to have the Translator app. What this does, you can just point it at any language and it will translate it to English. Here's how it works. Once you're in the app, it will most likely start like this, and then you have the option to use your camera. Just switch it to camera view, and then you can just start translating. So right now it's set to read Icelandic. Switch to the instructions. Get the focus. And you could just easily change the language, so, and you could search also. So let's say Spanish. And then let's try German. Really good app. Depending on when you go, there might be a lot of flies. Now I went during the summer and there were a lot of flies, and these flies are dreadful. They will buzz at your ear, try to get in your nose, get in your eye. So I brought with me a fly net, and I'll put the link in the description. But it was very useful. I use it even when I'm going on hikes here in America, but taking it there during the summer is very useful. If you can, bring a camera. Now anything with a camera will do. Your phone should be fine, but there are some places that you'll get to where a phone will not do it justice. So if you can, bring a camera. Otherwise, you can just take your phone. You're going to want to take a lot of pictures. You don't need a lot of cash. I don't want to put an amount, but reportedly there are some places that do not take credit cards. I didn't find any such spots, but I like the idea of having cash as an option regardless. So if you can bring a little bit of cash, they take euros, they take US dollars, and they take obviously Icelandic kronos and your credit cards. They don't like to take US coins though. You're going to need good hiking shoes. Some of the places might be slippery or cold. So depending on when you go, you might need gloves. Even in the Icelandic summer, it was about 50 something degrees or 60 degrees some days. So it might be nice where you're staying, but by the time you get to the waterfalls or in the rural areas, it might be 10 degrees cooler. So glove lining should be fine. In the winter, obviously you're going to need thicker gloves. The Icelandic summer does not have a lot of dark, so the sun sets, in huge quotations, at about 11:30 p.m. and then rises again a couple hours from then. So if you need total darkness to sleep, it might make sense to bring eye shades. Now, many places will have some type of blackout curtains or shades, but bring some eye shades if you think you might need it. A lot of the rural areas, you can't get to it by local transportation. So you have a couple options. The most convenient one, which is not the cheapest, is to rent a vehicle. You can also ride a bicycle, but it's going to be hard to get to some spots by riding. And the other option you have for city areas mainly is to rent an electric scooter. Obviously, the range will be limited, so you can't ride to the other side of the island on a rented electric scooter, at least not with the ones that I saw in Reykjavik. If you want to, say, watch some of your movies that you're used to in America or where you're coming from in Iceland, it might be limited. So unless you're using a VPN, virtual private network, or you're downloading the movies before you get there, you might get to Iceland and realize you can't watch your favorite shows via your favorite streaming service in that location. That being said, a lot of the places will already have a flat screen TV. So if you want to watch your programs on a large screen, you can bring one of those Chrome devices or Amazon devices, plug it into your TV and screencast or screen mirror or plug it straight into the big screen TV. You can easily avoid the more common spots, so you don't have to follow the so-called golden circle. There are a lot of great spots that you can find that are not on this circle. For example, here's a spot I found that has a geyser, a lighthouse, and some cliffs. And from any of these spots, you can watch a sunset and it's beautiful. I went to the spot just by accident. My initial voyage was to get to the bridge between continents, which was also fantastic. And I just kept driving down the road and found these 3 spots. You can easily spend a couple hours here just exploring the area. A lot of the land in Iceland is owned privately. So if you see a house nearby, there's a good chance somebody owns the property. So if you want to go on the property, you can just go up to the locals and ask permission kindly, and they'll probably say yes. Everybody was pleasant and kind during my time at least, and I had no problems asking for permission. I didn't do it often. Now, as you go around the island, you're going to encounter animals, sheep, horses, birds, and so on. Some of the birds are not in a hurry to get out the road, so be careful. And the sheep will be at the side of the road. They will most likely run away from you, but they are grazing at the side of the road in some spots. And there will be signs that tell you sheep grazing, horse in the area, that kind of stuff. If you want something to eat in the middle of the night, a lot of the stores close at 9 o'clock, but there are supermarkets near the city and in some highly populated areas that open 24 hours a day. When you find these locations, save them on your maps so you can go back to them again and again. But they have some good food you can just microwave, and it's reasonably priced in my opinion. Lastly, stay on the path. If you're in Iceland, they will have all kinds of signs at different locations to tell you do not veer off the path, because they want to protect their vegetation, and it's useful to respect that. If you get a chance to go to Iceland, check it out. It's beautiful. It's a life-changing opportunity in my opinion.